Hey guys, I forgot how we start. I'm Adam.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Castaway Brothers. We're the dumbass brothers that like to do podcasts for some reason. I need to quit playing that lighter. Sorry?
And once again, we're joined by Angela.
Yeah.
Yeah!
So we're gonna start trying something just because
First off,
I don't know how to preface this.
we are fucking huge Star Wars fans, and we are obsessed with The Mandalorian. Season 2 is coming out now, and we thought, why not review each episode, have a weekly thing going, so, just because why not?
Yeah.
And because I've gotten software editing software that's a little bit more user friendly that I can figure out better, and
so I
can get them out quicker.
Yeah, exactly. So this is not going to be nearly as long as most of our podcast episodes,
unless we just talk forever, which we are prone to do.
But so today we actually just watched the second episode. We watched them on Wednesdays, so this actually may come out the day the next episode comes out or the day before.
It's probably,
but
those days.
So we will end up posting them kind of as hopefully before the next one comes out, but if so, whatever. But yeah, we have seen episodes 1 and 2, and it was after one that after we already saw one.
It was like the day before. It was like a day or two ago, as of recording this, like Monday or Tuesday. After the first episode, we were like, "Hey, we should do a review after this." So I guess the first episode will be both first and second episode of Mandalorian.
So first of all, we're going to talk about the first episode, which will probably be a little fuzzier because it's been a week since we've seen it.
Yeah.
I remember most of it, but general thoughts. What do we think?
I thought it was a great way to start the second season.
Okay.
I thought it was a good opening.
So I think what we'll probably do is give general thoughts.
Okay.
Give then kind of play-by-play, talk about stuff during that. And then
we are totally pros at this.
And then give a score out of 10.
Okay. Yeah.
And then possibly after that, where we think it's going next or not, we'll see. Angela, what do you think of the first episode?
Start off with me, why don't you?
He already did, actually.
Oh, sorry, I don't pay much attention.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
No, but I really liked it.
It's not like we're best friends and hang out all the time or anything.
One more caveat before I leave.
Oh God, you're so needy.
It's like midnight. We're all very tired.
We just watched that episode. I'm tired.
All right, but yeah. So first episode thoughts.
I really enjoyed it. Baby Yoda's adorable.
I feel like Andrew and I will be microanalyzing Angela. Best Baby Yoda
Best
moment.
Baby Yoda moment.
I liked it because Baby Yoda was there. No, I definitely
Baby
thought
Yoda's
it was
making a lot more sounds this season, and I am here for it.
I definitely thought I agree. It was a great season 2 opener. I don't think it was quite as strong as season 1.
No.
Then because it did have that reveal at the end.
Mm.
But maybe it's just because I don't know. I also am, the more I think about it, the more I'm not sure how much I like season 1. I definitely think it's a very good season. I really like the show. A lot of it's filler.
Yeah, it ended up having a good portion of the season being filler when I went back and rewatched it in preparation for season 2, which I did in a day because it's like 8 episodes.
We did it, and we marathoned it in one day. So.
Yeah, it was a good day.
But I think if it didn't have the Crate Dragon battle, I wouldn't have cared for it nearly as much.
I think I have to agree with that. That was an awesome.
That was a
battle.
first of all, good set piece. Second of all,
Would you call
really
that a
good
raid
action.
battle?
Hmm?
Would you call that a raid battle?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Glad to know we agree.
But yeah, all right. So let's go point by point. So it
much like the rest of the show, it was a Western, but this one was like an actual Western with a dusty desert town.
Was called the Marshal. So
Marshal. It was like a marshal of the town. It looked like an old Western town that you see in the movies, that like one fucking street.
But before we even get to that, we have to actually get to him finding out about that town.
True.
Because he goes to this, I don't know if it's a gang leader or just some...
He goes to this fighting match.
Yeah, like a fight ring.
Yes, can we talk about
that? That's actually my favorite part of the entire episode.
That was amazing.
So good. That feels very reminiscent of the fight in the first episode of the first season.
Yes.
But he goes to this guy who's like, yeah.
I just want to talk about the rest, like the fighting that was actually happening at the time. The Gamorreans.
Yeah.
It was a Gamorrean fight pit. It's essentially what that was. They were betting. It was like a dog fight, but Gamorreans. And they were betting on the Gamorreans, and then he was like,
shoots one of them. But yeah, the dude's like,
the other one's just like, thank God I'm alive.
But he Mando goes to a guy about he's trying to find more Mandalorians because
because at the very end of season 1, if you happen to not remember, or if you haven't seen it, I guess spoilers, then why are you listening to this? He was given the mission to get the Baby Yoda, or the child, as it's supposed to be called, back to its people.
Also, yes, the proper name is the child. We will literally never call
Baby Yoda. Anyway.
Or my son.
But yeah, he goes to this person in the fight ring because he's heard that they will be able to tell him something. Dude basically immediately turns a blaster on Mando, like, yeah, you're gonna give me that armor, and
along with everyone else around him sitting around him.
In the best scene, just Baby Yoda looks at all this, reaches outside of his little pod, and it closes.
Well, no, because he sees Mando like getting the whistling birds or whatever on his wrist, like priming them, and he's like, "Fuck no!" He just goes, hits the thing and covers up,
and then just proceeds to kill everyone except for one of them. Who the first guy, he strings upside down from a light post, almost Batman style, and just like,
or Spider-Man.
Tell me what I need to know. All right, Tatooine. I wonder who he's talking about. A Mandalorian on Tatooine. We've never heard that. And then it's just, but you can't kill me. I give you my word. I won't kill you.
You will not die by my hand.
You will not die by my hand.
Yeah.
So he shoots the light out, and these wild animals you start seeing
eyes light up around him, and it cuts to the theme song.
It's like, no.
That was great.
That was so good.
I think my favorite part of the whole episode is the opening.
I 100% agree.
Oh yeah.
The raid fight against the Krayt Dragon is great. But that opening scene is so good. First of all, one of the cutest moments from Baby Yoda, just boop. Yep. But also just badass fighting where he barely even pulls out his blaster. Half the time he's fighting with his vibro knife. Yeah. Which also really glad that the series introduces vibro weapons.
Because I mean they've been in the lore for a long time in Star Wars lore, and in
Gamorrean guards use their vibro axes.
Yeah. And, like, I know you can get some vibro weapons in, like, what is it?
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic?
I think the Old Republic,
but not the MMO.
yeah, the RPG.
Thank you. I could not think of that to save my life. God, I feel like such a fake nerd right now.
Basically what they are just weapons that vibrate very fast.
It's like an actual sword or a knife or whatever, but they vibrate at such a thing that it's actually a threat in this universe.
The best way I've heard it is Baby's first lightsaber.
Yes.
It's like a lightsaber, but not as good.
Mm-hmm.
So then he goes to Tatooine. You see the mechanic lady from the first season.
Yes. I think she was one of my favorite. I almost said NPCs, but like
little side character.
Side character. She's one of my favorites from that since the Ugnaught died.
She's great.
I think I like her better
I have spoken.
in this season so far.
So far, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I liked her in the first season, but I don't know if her personality is really standing out.
She's a lot less timid and more friendly with Mando now. Now that they've done business, she knows about Baby Yoda, and so she
cares about Baby Yoda and is willing to help.
Yeah, she's a lot more joking around with him, which it's fun to see somebody kind of give him shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he is a brooding badass, and I love that about him. But it's like seeing Geralt from The Witcher whenever he's paired up with either adult Ciri or like Triss or Yennefer
or Jaskier.
Or Jaskier / Dandelion. They're like, oh yeah, no, I know this badass shit you're doing. It's fine. We're good. You're good, man. And he's like, I don't need this. Yeah, you do.
Because he tries to be tough, and then Jaskier just gives him a bath. Like, you gotta get cleaned up, dude. Like, come on. And he's just sitting there.
It's fun seeing somebody that doesn't let the badass be a badass.
Yes.
It's really good character building that not everyone is about this. But anyways, she's repairing his ship because he's got to go find. This
I love that they
Mandalorian
name
dog.
dropped Mos Espa in the last episode, which is where the pod race in episode 1 in the Phantom Menace takes place. Because you were like, I know that name. What is that?
Yeah,
and I was
the
like,
Mos
pod
Espa
race.
So he goes to this town. It has a name. It's Moss something.
Isley.
No,
I know.
I don't remember what it is. But he
I
goes to
don't
this
remember.
small little town, and he's like, all right, I'm looking for a Mandalorian. Like, I don't know a Mandalorian. He goes, somebody that looks like me. Oh, that'd be the Marshal, who then walks in wearing Boba Fett's armor.
Wearing Boba Fett's
That
armor.
does not fit quite right.
No.
It's like a cosplay almost.
It's like it seems like just something slightly off, and then the dude takes off his helmet. So
That's how you know it's not a real Mandalorian.
And which is you can see the confusion on his helmet of what is this? No.
The confusion on his helmet.
I don't see facial expressions, but his body language is tense, but also
Can we talk for a second about that? That the actor, I cannot remember his name, that plays the Mandalorian.
Pedro Pascal?
Yes.
Yes.
His body language, as subtle as it is so on point that you can tell confusion through his fucking mask.
You can't even see his face.
But you can tell confusion, sadness, anger. You can tell what emotion he's feeling because he just emits that aura of whatever emotion it is in his body language so well that it's like, oh fuck, this guy's pissed.
Yeah,
and all you see is a blank
A
mask.
lot of it is like head positioning. If he's looking down, he's pissed.
Mhm.
If he's looking to the side, more confused or pondering. And a lot of it with shoulders too.
Mhm.
You can tell in the body language what he's feeling, and he's very. I don't know if it's his acting or the directing, but either way, beautiful.
And it's
great.
so subtle and such small things, but they make such a big difference in how you feel, the character, and I love it.
Because he doesn't get the luxury like Geralt does of being able to use facial expressions, eyebrows especially.
Which Henry Cavill is very good at.
Henry Cavill's amazing, but you can tell his emotions on his face because they're very similar characters, but they don't talk much. You can kind of see, you read them.
Of course, to be fair, Henry Cavill's face doesn't change that much. It's just he increases the scowl more.
What's
the eyebrows.
Or the
a little
eyebrows.
more.
But
A little
still.
more down, a little more up, depending on what's happening. And he's...
But even like eyelids, you can
Yeah.
tell if he's squinting, different stuff like that. You get none of that from Mando.
No!
And he pulls it off.
He
really
does. It's
well.
incredible.
But back to the story. He's basically it turns out this guy had as soon as the he kind of questions him like, why do you have that armor? He goes, I bought it off Jawas.
Yeah.
Right after the Empire basically was toppled, that city was immediately taken over by like, I don't remember if it was miners or gangsters or whatever. And basically everyone was getting wiped out. He escaped. And I don't remember
Jawas saved him because he was out in the
he
desert.
had that they wanted to trade with.
He
Crystals?
yeah, the crystals that they had been mining, and he
jacked some before
he took some because he thought it was just like provisions or something. He took it and was out in the desert and looked,
Right,
and it was just
it was
like crystals. But
yeah,
he was
yeah.
like, "You can have them. Give me the armor."
And they were like, what do you want? You want this droid? You want this gun? He looks over and sees Boba Fett's armor. And he's like, that. Shows him come back and just wipe the floor.
and they're like, "Yeah, cool."
Nope. And then and basically he's like, you can buy it off me, but I'm not giving it up. I have to do this. And then a crate dragon comes through. So this is actually the first on-screen appearance of crate dragons we've ever seen. Because
They've been mentioned before in something. I remember hearing the name before.
they are what Obi-Wan's, in episode 4, the roar he mimics.
That's what
It's
it
a crate
is.
dragon.
I've heard that.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if they may have changed it in the I don't remember what it's called, the deluxe edition or whatever. The second one where Greedo shot first.
Oh, the
Crap, I don't remember what it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
But basically, at least from one of the versions, the way the crate dragon actually roars does sound like what Obi-Wan does. Anyways, yeah. So as soon as that happens, the Marshal is just kind of, all right, you want the armor? Help me kill that thing. Because it goes through at each one of their banthas, and that's going to become a problem. Oh yeah, so then they end up going to the Tusken Raiders for help.
Well, they're not trying to. They were going to find the crate dragon. He's like, all right, let's go kill it. Let's go do this thing. And they run into the...
Because his speeder bike is a pod racer engine?
Yes, the Marshals...
Coolest thing!
Turned a pod racer engine into like a speeder bike. And it was the coolest thing.
Oh, I love that.
We geeked out so hard about that. It's
So
such a cool
hard.
use of a pod race engine. But, so they're going and they got off the speeder bikes. And I don't remember why.
Because it was a canyon and then dogs were jumping down. Like some kind of sand dogs.
Yeah, I didn't know if that happened before or after they got off the bikes.
Who cares?
Whatever. They find the dogs, and the Marshal's getting ready to shoot him, and Mando's like,
"Hang on a sec."
He goes over to it and just starts like
he starts speaking in
Tusken, and then he's like, he starts petting the thing, and it was the cutest.
Which is actually another podcast I was listening to pointed this out, that it really shows the evolution of his character, because season 1 he was the Marshal. He was shoot first, ask questions later.
He was, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then now he's like, hang on, let me see if they're trained. I got this. Speaks Tusken.
Also, I love the fact that he knows Tusken.
That's so cool.
It's so cool. And then the Tuskens come out, and it turns out that they have a sign language that they use.
Which
read
is cool. About that. I think people that like ASL like majors, people that actually know about American Sign Language, actually help develop that language.
They did, yeah. I read that somewhere. They helped create that language, like that sign language. I was like, that is so cool. They have an actual, like, fully formed... Oh, you're good. Nate and Larry are here. We might hear them from time to time.
He actually used the sign language in season 1 with the wannabe bounty hunter. Whenever they were going to find the girl, and he had to give up the binoculars because they had came up on the two with their banthas trying to go through the canyon. And they were like, okay, screw it, let's just kill him. And he was like, why don't you tell them that to their face? And they turn around, they're right behind him. And instead of actually speaking it, he only used the sign language.
Oh yeah, okay. The first time he was in Tatooine, I forgot about that.
He never actually spoke Tusken.
Okay,
so that was actually another link to how like his character has grown. Was like he's actually trying to like verbally communicate and everything.
Yeah.
So. I like that they like fleshed out the Tusken Raiders more with like their language and their sign language. It was really cool. So I loved that, and they're like, yeah.
I'm debating if I'm gonna make the joke about how it actually kind of slightly destroyed their character because they're animals supposed to be slaughtered like animals.
All right, everybody, this was the last episode of Castaway Brothers podcast. I'm disowning him.
Tune in next week when it's the Angela and Andrew show.
And Angela only talks about how much she hates sand. Star Wars memes. Anyways, they talk.
The Tuskens are like, yeah, we're gonna help.
Yeah, this is a problem for us as well as we travel on Bantha. If you help us kill it, and because Marshall doesn't trust the Tuskens because they raided a few months back or something.
And then the Tuskens don't trust them because they kill.
Yeah, they kill Tuskens because they raided them, and it's a vicious cycle. It's bad. Anyways, they're like, hey, let us take the body and the ichor.
Mm-hmm. Ichor, or however you say it.
Yeah. The juice.
The juice.
And we won't touch your village. Until your kind breaks the truce.
Yeah.
I believe was the exact word used. Mm-hmm. Everyone's reluctant. They finally agree. There's a lot of fun scenes that I'm just kind of skimming over at this point.
Like the time when the Tusken dropped the explosive thing and the dude started trying to start a fight with the Tusken because he's like, are you trying to kill us all? And he's like, wait, I slipped. What the fuck you want?
I mean, was foreshadowing for how they take down the...
I mean, they were already planning on using explosives, I think.
No,
yeah.
Foreshadowing on how it died. Like, how they do it.
Yeah.
But also another thing about his growth, because I think he used his flamethrower, I don't know if it was against the Tuskens or not, at one point to scare people off. And in this time, because the Marshal and one of the Tuskens started getting heated, and he basically makes a little pillar of fire right between them. He's like, hey, stop.
No, that was the original negotiations with the sheriff Mando.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But there was also another cool scene that I forgot about. Oh yeah, like the planning out. Like it can't be that big. It's the scale.
It's the scale.
But basically, they all plan to kill the crate dragon by baiting it out with some banthas and then like basically harpooning it and reeling it in, planting explosives under the sand because its belly is the only thing that's vulnerable, and then blowing it to high hell.
Can we talk right quick about how shallow they actually?
Yeah, I was thinking that myself.
Like
For something
that was bothering me so bad.
for something that burrows in the sand, they planted it like
maybe
at
5 feet.
at
Maybe 5 feet.
like I'd say 2 at tops.
They did not do very much to try to dig a very deep bomb.
But
That being said, it did seem to be able to feel vibrations in the sand, so they may have been trying to not push their luck.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that.
And also with that, like, I guess it did add to the scale of the situation because you saw the little indentation in the ground, and whenever they were actually covering it up and everything, it looked substantial. But whenever you got the up down view on it, it looked like it was literally like 5 by 8, and it just like I guess that could be just playing to how big that canyon was.
And then we see the crate dragon actually like come all the way out, and it is fucking huge.
Behemoth.
Also, I love when the first time they tried to get it to come out.
Oh, they're like, here's a bantha, and the dude just books it and trips it. And
Because he yells, he's like, ah!
Yeah, go on.
I've heard better.
Absolutely. If you want me to be loud, I can do better. Anyways,
He just yells and then starts booking it like, come get the bantha! Ah! Trips and falls, and then fucking eats him and leaves the bantha.
Yeah,
The bantha's
just-
like,
Turn straight toward him instead.
which
bantha's like, I'm alive.
from a hunter's perspective, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, what? If there's one that's running and I can still catch it, and there's one that hasn't moved yet, dinner now and dinner later.
Midnight snack.
Exactly. So that makes a lot of sense.
It was funny. I liked it.
Um,
Still bring up the argument of why run like straight back
and
instead of towards the edge.
I'm gonna bring up the argument: the way they killed it? Why didn't they start that from the beginning?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Because their plan was drag it over to their shallow grave to to blow it up. It doesn't work, shocking. It starts vomiting acid at them,
Yeah, what
crashes
the
through
fuck
the
was that?
fucking mountain until Mando finally grabs a bantha that's already strapped with TNT, basically, like falls in its stomach, uses his taser thing to make it open,
Get
flies
back out.
and detonates. If you're already sacrificing bantha, why not just here's a midnight snack? You're lying to explode. Eat it.
Because podcast is a
Yeah.
famously visual media
Famously
for all
visual.
your antics there, Adam.
That was visually hilarious. You'll all have to take my word for it.
I painted a pretty picture of it.
That being said, the explosion was awesome.
The end result was awesome, and I'm willing to let it go. Because like, all right, cool, plot, runtime, whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like, come on.
Mm.
Okay, we're also skipping over the fact that the thing literally popped out the top of the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
I glossed over that, but yeah, it literally just
That
starts.
was an insane, like, God of War
Like-
style, like, scene right there.
Mhm. If anybody listening hasn't yet seen it, go watch it. I'm sorry if we spoiled things. Why are you listening to this?
Fight, that was.
But go watch it for that fight. That fight was incredible. The Crate Dragon was awesome. It was so cool to finally see it on screen.
Oh.
Was there anything else of episode 1 we wanted to
Basically,
talk
the
about?
marshal then hands him the armor, just like, yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah.
100%.
And they have albeit tenuous, but a truce with the Tusken Raiders for the time being. Tuskens.
Everybody kind of celebrates. Everything seems good. Mando leaves, and we're left with a shot of a wanderer with a. I actually heard, I'm not sure, he may have been wearing Sand People armor.
Possibly.
But he is basically
Boba Fett, who
Boba Fett.
who survived the whatchamacallit?
The
Sarlacc
Sarlacc
pit.
pit.
Thank you. I could not remember
which
that.
it's played by the same guy that played Jango Fett, which makes sense because he's actually technically a clone.
Yeah, he was a clone
But
that didn't have the accelerated
I
growth.
love that first of all they got him to come back.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Also, it mentioned something about how the Crate Dragon ate the Sarlacc pit.
Yes.
So that may have something to do with that. I'm not sure.
That's where it made its home.
Right? Yeah.
It's not like that. Sorry.
The dead Sarlacc pit.
Sarlacc pit.
Sarlacc.
Nate has trouble with words, but we know what he means.
He has even more trouble with colors. I love you, Nate. I love you.
That joke is because he is colorblind.
Somebody couldn't pick that up.
I mean, just saying. I'm just giving context. You're the one that made the joke.
You have to live with me, sir.
All right, so are we gonna give our rating out of 10 now?
Yes.
Okay, who's starting?
Go for it.
Okay, I'll give it a solid 7. 7 out of 10. I think because I thought it was a good start to the season. It was a good way to start a season. It was better than some of the episodes in season 1. Some of the filler.
It was definitely better than any of the filler episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't.
It was
have
the
that,
weakest story driven
It
episode.
didn't have.
I
It
think.
almost felt like it didn't have a story hook.
It felt almost filler,
But I feel like if I had watched this was the beginning
other
of
than
season
Boba
1.
Fett in there and him looking for other Mandalorians, it didn't have a whole
If this
lot of
was the
story.
beginning of season 1, I don't know how invested I would be in the season.
Other than that Crate Dragon fight.
That was a good Crate Dragon fight, but it's not a story hook.
For me,
it
because
has nothing to bring me back.
Mhm. because I'm more easily entertained and easily content with
Mhm.
like entertainment than you are. It's easier for me to sit there and just be like, yeah, I'll watch another episode. That fight was cool enough. I'll sit through.
If I was watching, I guess because the first episode had a lot of really good action. So I'm like, yeah, I'm already in for this action. And then it has the 50-year-old man be a baby Yoda.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm in. What is this? Give me more.
Yeah. Because they set the bar so high with season 1, though, it makes this would be a good
It's a very good episode.
It's just like the bar was set so high that it's like
the biggest problem with the Mandalorian in general is it doesn't like to do story. It's all very self-contained stories with no overarching.
it really likes its action scenes, which are done very well.
And when it does an overarching story, I'm in. I love it.
Like that's
100%.
the thing is like even they're not grand battles, but the action scenes are still
They're Western battles.
Well, but they're still to the scale and
intensity.
No, well, yes, but there's another word that I'm trying to think of, and I cannot think of it. But whatever of the movies, like it's still that level of
the grandeur, I guess.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I feel like it's like, oh, this is a lot less numbers. Luke wouldn't have any problem with this. Yeah, because he's a space wizard. This guy's got a gun and a good set of armor. We're seeing how this goes.
He's a space wizard.
Sorry, space sorcerer.
Samurai. Nate goes, he's a battle mage.
But Angela, out of 10.
6.
6?
Yeah. It's not my favorite.
Fair.
But I really
Is it because there's not a lot of Baby Yoda? I'm joking.
I really love the beginning.
Yeah.
I really love the beginning.
That's fair. That's, again, like, the beginning was really good. It was a great call into
the beginning of that episode felt a lot like the beginning of the very first episode of season 1. So it was like, all right, here we go. We're in for another good season. And then the rest of the episode was a little meh, but it was still fun.
It was
and
very
I like
good.
Westerns enough that this hit those Western, like, niche
this been the
cliches for me.
second episode, it would be like an 8 or 9 out of 10 for me.
Kind of same.
Because it's like, this is a great episode for when I'm expecting a little bit more filler.
Yeah.
For you starting off the story of, all right, because I knew what the story of season 1 was going to be by the 3rd episode.
Mm-hmm.
And at least got a plot hook of that by the 1st. I'm not saying the Boba Fett wasn't a plot hook. He very well could have been, he could be introduced again in the 3rd episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's, all right, here's what we're doing. But it still didn't feel like it was a great enough hook to bring me back. It almost felt more like a cameo than this is what's going to happen.
You okay?
Yeah, I had to burp.
Okay, but see, like that's the thing about season 2 is that we know where the story is heading coming into the season. We didn't have that coming into season 1, so we were more willing to give it a pass and wait to find out what the story was going to be. Whereas we know at the end of season 1, he's like, I've got to find this thing's people and bring it back. So that's where we're expecting to be with season 2, with the first episode, and then it gives us filler. And it's like, started with story, and it's like, I'm looking for more Mandalorians to fight it. All right, cool, here we go. Going to Tatooine, fucking Boba Fett, holy shit. All right, what is happening now? We're in a western town.
Cool.
You're not Boba Fett. Why do you have his armor?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I got it off Jawas. Well, I don't really care anymore. Yeah. Crate Dragon, cool.
Very cool. I actually done the explanation of how he had it.
Yeah.
And I'm really kind of glad to see somebody that's not a Mandalorian have that armor to show that, one, it takes more than the armor to be a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Two, even with the armor, you're just doing all right. Because it's like, I'm not the biggest fan of Boba Fett, actually. I think he's way too overhyped.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
he just is the one that started the Mandalorian look, and you got to give him credit for that. That was the first Mandalorian that we ever saw, and it's like, yo, he looks fucking cool, and we've expanded on that further, and now we have this amazing piece of art known as the Mandalorian.
Right.
So
I'm debating if I'm going with a 7 or a 6 out of 10.
6.5.
I don't want to give it a half. I think I'm going 6 out of 10. It's good. I'm also just I try not to be like any other Raiders that's like, if it's a 6 or below, it's bad. And I'm like, that's over half the scale. You can't do that.
For me, below 5 is bad.
Exactly. 5 is fine. The good and bad were perfect balance.
Around 3 is where it gets bad for me. Because 4 is like, it was okay.
4 for me is on the low.
Also, I expect my ratings to be higher than most other people's because, like I said, I'm more easily entertained and content with what I'm watching. Because I'm like, I mean, if it's something I'm even remotely interested in, I'll sit there and watch it till the end, as long as I'm getting some kind of, this is cool, getting some kind of little itch scratch.
Right. I'm absolutely watching this all the way through, and I will watch at least. It could be literally nothing but this style episode, and I'd watch through season 3. That's when it would start to lose me, though.
It's like, okay, it's getting repetitive. I need more. Yeah. So you're giving it 6 out of 10?
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10 Baby Yodas. Gotcha.
6 out of 10 Baby Yodas. I want 10. I want 10 of them. I want to know.
All right. So
I'm not gonna for this one. I'm not gonna do what I was talking about, like do the into the next, like what we think could be coming next, because we know what comes to the next episode. So we're gonna go ahead and move straight into episode 2. I was talking about at the near the top about how like at the end of our review we may talk after our ratings.
What we think might happen in the next episode.
In the next episode,
okay.
Or later in the series.
I thought you were just talking about the end of this podcast. Like, okay, I'm not going to talk about this because we know what happens next. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen in episode 3. What the fuck are you talking about?
What kind of psychic ass spoilers you got?
Okay, I get where we are now.
Yeah.
Cool, let's do it.
Episode 2.
Shit happened.
What was?
Wait, hang on, Nate.
Nate,
how did you feel about this episode?
And
Come over here to the mic. Come over here to the mic. Speak loudly.
I can hear you.
Trust me, my opinion on this episode is loud enough to where you can hear me from a fucking mile away.
Mm-hmm.
No!
He picked it from there!
He's literally sitting on the couch 5 feet away.
Fucking no! Just, okay, just answering that question, I have fucking chills again.
Poor Stella.
So, to preface this, there's spiders.
Just screams no at the top of his lungs.
Alright, so we'll just put it this way.
Nate may have some slight arachnophobia.
So, to start off the episode, I'm standing, nobody judge me, in the middle of the room watching the show. By the end of the episode, I'm hiding behind my barn door that goes into the hallway, trying to get away from it. I didn't even realize I moved.
Guys, he's not exaggerating either, because we were right there. We saw him in the middle of the thing, and the next thing we know, he's behind the door, still watching it because he can't look away, but also going, no, fuck this,
and
no, the whole
nice
time.
And I'm trying not to outwardly freak out because I don't want to distract anybody else from watching it. But I'm literally sitting there having a freaking anxiety attack watching this. And it wasn't until one of the two of them screamed that I felt, okay, now I can verbally just
Like, now I can verbally freak
I was
out.
about to say, Andrew was going,
Yeah,
the
well,
entire
I'm okay
time.
with spiders, but when there's a swarm coming at anything, like when
And
they
a
start,
Shelob-sized one. That's enough for me. That's dope
Yes.
for me.
No,
or Aragog if you prefer Harry Potter, but.
no.
Because, like, it was especially when they started, like, all swarming, he's, like, shooting them, and they're, like, surrounding them. And I'm like, use the flamethrower, use the flamethrower. And they do it, and I'm like, okay. But on the ship, because it was such an enclosed area on the ship, and they just started swarming all over the walls and ceiling at him, and I'm like, no! That's when Nate was like,
I got like 17 things to say about that, so I'm saving that for whatever we're actually going through.
Okay.
But overall thoughts on the episode.
Whew!
Let's start with better or worse than the first.
No.
Worse.
Just no.
You go first.
I'm gonna also say worse, not by much.
Not by much.
And but it's a very different tone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is honestly the closest I've ever seen The Mandalorian to horror.
Yes.
That was like that
I got
may just
chills
be-
just there. Nate's
that-
under the blanket. I'm sorry.
That may just be due to I don't like spiders either, but it's just I was uncomfortable and just like there was a sense of dread over half the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I liked this one more.
That's what, I know exactly why though. It has nothing to do with the actual story.
No,
it has to do with
I
Darren
want
Morris.
to hear her reasons.
Yeah.
No, I legitimately was in some way entertained the entire episode, whereas in the first episode there was a lot of okay.
Waiting.
Okay.
There's fair. There was always at least something that you're like, all right, what's happening now? What's
Where's
gonna happen
Baby
next?
Yoda? Oh,
Where
no,
is
what are
he?
you doing?
Where are the eggs?
Exactly.
Oh, that I had such a problem with that.
So I just want to just right quick. I just want to point out, whenever they dropped into that cave, did I not have a moment to where I'm like, okay, Star Wars and Snow Cave, there's nothing good in this cave.
Fair.
And I will go ahead and say, not what I was expecting.
I was expecting Wampas.
expecting a fucking Yeti.
Yeah, same.
That was
I
where my
thinking,
brain
yeah.
was.
I was expecting Wampas. Yeah.
I wasn't actually expecting creatures. I was expecting him to have to deal with the frog lady, like, not doing well because of the cold. That's what I was
And I
expecting.
think that's why the creatures got me so much, because I thought this was going to be an internal struggle, a struggle to survive, not a struggle to not fucking die.
And then all of a sudden, we'll get to it. Never mind.
Yeah, we should.
It's Nate, man.
Backtrack. Let's talk about the start of the episode.
Alright, so it picks up almost immediately where it left off. In a kind of pointless scene, outside of it destroyed the bike, which didn't really lead to anything. Basically, he gets ambushed on the way back, and somebody holds a knife to Baby Yoda's throat, and he's like, take whatever you want.
Okay, you say pointless scene, but it was freaking hilarious.
I mean,
It was.
first off,
It was
it
outside of the
showed
gag,
that
it
he
didn't really have much.
It showed that he has, he's still very capable hand-to-hand fighter, even without guns. And then he's very clever.
Yeah.
Because the dude's like, I want the jetpack. He's like, fucking fine, take the jetpack. He just starts booking it with the jetpack, picks up Baby Yoda. You okay? All right.
chirps.
Pushes a button on one of his gauntlet things, and all of a sudden you see the guy running in the background. He just launches into the air with the jetpack going, ah!
It was hilarious. I'm not denying that in the slightest.
Splats
I
to the
will-
ground.
I will say what it did show is the fact that he's still that bounty hunters or something are still after Baby Yoda.
Yep.
That was
Fair. Okay.
Baby
Yeah.
Yoda is
the
still
one thing
being
it did.
pursued.
I will give you that.
Yeah, it did do that.
Because, yeah, they were after specifically the child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked the scene. It was good.
Okay, yeah, so I'll respond.
Another
I'll
strong
check
start.
that. Very strong site, very start. Good action scene. Hilarious, sending him up. But also, it was nice to see him in a vulnerable spot where it's like, you have my heart in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do anything. But he still didn't drop the badass. And it wasn't like a do it, you won't type thing. It was a,
What do you want?
it was a, listen, you put a mark on that kid, there is no place in this galaxy you can hide that I won't find you. Take what you want. Do not hurt the kid.
Yeah.
Or I will
It
hurt
felt
you.
very John Constantine almost. Very like not losing is cool, but still finding a way to come out on top.
Okay.
Very clever and tricksy. A little bit. So,
As a dad, I respect it.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, hell respect it. Let's see.
I'm fine.
Heads back to the lady mechanic. Thank you.
Just the lady.
I could not remember what that's called. I almost called her the fixer. I almost called her the fixer.
She's the fixer-upper.
It's female doctor.
Just talk about the Back to the Future.
Oh, female Doc Brown.
Yeah, Doctor.
But she basically finds somebody that may know where more Mandalorians are.
Dr. Mandible, the most important character in that
Okay,
episode.
so Dr. Mandible.
Who is just a giant insect, but it wasn't a spider and not creepy.
That is the most un-Star Wars name I have ever
Does that
heard.
not sound like a name from the Muppets?
It sounds like either Muppets or Doctor Who.
Yes.
It was literally like what? An
That
ant?
is the
It was like a
Muppet.
giant
That's
ant.
the Muppets equivalent of Doctor Who is Dr. Mandible.
Me. Okay.
I'm proud of that.
But Dr. Mandible says he knows a guy that, I don't know if he ever specified gender, but he said he knows somebody that can do it. The contact. They meet the contact. It's a frog.
It's a pink lady frog.
Pink lady frog that needs to get to where her husband is.
So he
She
can
has-
fertilize her eggies.
And that's actually not.
Not an innuendo.
Not
She
an
has
innuendo. She has
actual eggs that need to be
tank of
fertilized.
eggs that he.
I didn't even think of that being. I didn't even think of it that way. So he was just like, that was not an innuendo. Oh, yeah, I guess I kind of got that.
She has a tank of eggs that her husband needs to like fertilize. I don't question it. We're moving on.
Like their line is going to die off.
Yeah, their family-
Eggs to
I-
not get fertilized.
They're
These are
fine.
the last eggs that she's ever going to have
Yeah,
in her
yeah.
life cycle. It was
And
saying.
so by the way they said it, I think it means family. I think they're definitely talking about family, not like species.
Oh yeah, I think so.
But basically, she's like, yeah, if we can get to this planet, we'll be good.
But she specified he could not go hyperspeed, light speed. He had to go
Because
sublight.
it will destroy the eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because I'm actually playing a level on Hollow Knight where they're like, hey, I need you to put this flower at someone's grave across the map. Okay, cool. You can't use the fast travel. I can't. What now? Also, you can't get hit. I can't. What now? Anyways,
And then Baby Yoda keeps eating the goddamn
Yoda
eggs.
keeps eating the eggs. I'm so uncomfortable with it.
Here, he has a hunger for frogs.
We
learned
know.
Who
that.
learned that? He's eating children.
No, they're not fertilized.
Yes.
It's like eating chicken eggs. You eat eggs.
I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
I wish to devour the unborn.
So I will actually just might be kind of pointless. The lead up to the Baby Yoda eating the eggs thing, it could have went either way. 'Cause
It
there was,
coulda
a, there
gone
was
either way.
either a food lover looking at a meal and then they get that very erotic music playing in the background. Like, what am I gonna do? What is he gonna do to this plate?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could have been
Ooh, another baby.
other babies. Oh, it could
Yeah.
have been really sweet.
Yeah, because there is
It was really bad because me and Adam, it was me and Andrew had a moment where we were on both sides of the coin. He was just like, Baby Yoda, no, and I'm like, what? He sees friends. And
Future
because that is the thing with little kids. They see babies and they're like, "Oh, a baby," and they want to like see the baby.
That's exactly what could have been perceived.
That is not where I went because I
Andrew
remember.
had it spot on. He was just like, Baby Yoda, don't do it.
'Cause I
I'm like,
remembered
what's he gonna
Baby-
do?
I remembered Baby Yoda eating the fucking frogs in the last season. Was that the episode with the
Yes,
ATST?
the forest episode.
The chicken walker, yeah.
Yeah,
He eats the frogs, and I'm like, no, Baby Yoda.
But there's a
Our volume's all over the place
Oh my
in
God,
this
there's good
episode.
luck. So there's some X-wings end up like tailing him, and there's trouble, and they ask like, "Hey,
Are you Empire? Essentially.
yeah, are you Empire? No. All right, prove it. Send a ping or like send your identification." He's like, fuck, okay. Sends it, and you just see
Well, I
them-
like it first. It's like, it doesn't seem to be working. Not actually trying to do anything, and they're like,
Oh, that's fine. You can come to this place, and they can verify you.
oh wait, here, there we go. It's working now. And then I'm like,
It was
What was his name?
Wolf was talking to
Carson.
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 Hey, Carson, can you go?
Colton or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, Carson, can you go to channel 2?
Channel 2.
He's like, yeah, sure. And they go quiet for a second.
There's a solid like 10
Again-
seconds of silence.
Again, giving off just the vibes. He just gives off vibes that you can feel through
It's just-
watching it. He's just this like,
Oh,
shit.
No, please. And you see the X-Wing switch into attack
Yeah,
mode.
So if you
Were you at this place at this time?
he just nosedives to the nearest planet, which is the ice planet that they end up on.
So he pulls
I
some.
need y'all to slow down the storytelling right quick.
No.
I don't want to relive this next part too quick.
Oh, we rush and hyper-speed into this.
Just because he rushed through that canyon like a bat out of hell does not mean y'all have to.
He pulled some, but he pulled some cool maneuvers and ended up like
that was actually a really cool chase
it was
scene.
very
I
cool
loved it.
chasing. I loved it.
It felt very similar to Force Awakens when they're in the Millennium Falcon flying away.
It
It
on
felt-
Jakku.
Yeah, on
the
Jakku.
ruined,
The Star Destroyer, yeah. And I'm like, this is so cool.
That was really cool. He ended up like shutting his engines off and like sliding into almost like a crevice to where they went by
Like an
and didn't see him.
overhang thing. He slid under where they couldn't see him, and
Exactly.
they flew by. Which
And
is
of course it was ice and crumbled underneath him, piercing the hull and doing a lot of damage to the engine.
ship messed up.
Unfortunately, Frog Lady is
Cold-blooded, being an amphibian.
Yeah, that's a problem. And unfortunately, Baby Yoda is hungry.
Still.
Keeps eating the eggs. It's uncomfortable.
It stressed me out. I was afraid he was going to eat all of them and there weren't going to be any left.
Yeah.
Like they finally make it to
The
the
only-
husband, and there's no babies left.
The only time I've ever not liked Baby Yoda.
I definitely still liked him. But it's
Oh, I still love
please,
him, but I'm just like...
please no. Please no, my dude. But basically, she ends up like hacking one of the robots that he killed on his ship to talk to him and be like, yo, quit sitting the fuck around, we gotta go!
That was one of the languages he didn't know. He
Yeah.
doesn't know the frog speech. And so she apparently knows robotics well enough to hack into
Which is so awesome.
So badass, but also
Translator.
He knows Hadith.
vocabulary.
Because he started speaking
Yes.
Hadith to her, like, it's like, you know this? No? Cool.
I guess she just sat there like, what?
Yeah, that look she gave him was just priceless.
Okay.
Like gills would just
Yeah. So crashes through the ice.
Yeah. He ends up going outside to fix the ship. Baby Yoda goes, and points. He finds out that she's left the ship, goes and finds her in a hot spring with the eggs in the hot spring as well, because again, they're all cold-blooded, so she needs to stay warm.
Which was very resourceful. I thought that was really
Mhm.
cool.
He's like, all right, cool. No. Starts putting the eggs back in the things. It's like, we need to
I can't protect you here.
can't
We need to
protect
stay
you.
on the ship where I can protect
Baby
you.
Yoda
Baby,
tries to help, and he's all like,
Tries to help my ass.
I just looked at the eggs. It was just like that. Okay, I love boiled eggs. That's exactly what he was thinking.
All right, Dad's like, we're picking up the eggs, right? Right, and then we're putting them away. What?
again, podcasting, a famously visual media.
I muffled my words enough. They knew I was miming putting an egg in my mouth.
Well, they do now.
Yeah, exactly. See, they knew it even before. That's why I clarified
Right.
it, just in case.
Damn it! Stop making me start!
No.
Thank God we don't
If
have
this is-
alcohol right now.
Oh God! If this isn't the most just natural us
Yeah.
episode.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay,
So then
whenever he said no, and Baby Yoda went wandering,
Baby
around,
Yoda's like, I'm hungry. What's that over there?
and he found more eggs.
He found more eggs.
Of course.
Where's the frog?
But
As soon as you start seeing these things in the ground, Nate immediately goes, "Those are eggs. Those are eggs. Those are eggs."
The way it surveyed
felt
the room
very-
whenever they walked in, it showed like a very specific shot of the roof, and I was positive it was a mouth.
Yeah.
I was sure they were in
You
the
were like,
mouth.
this
of
is like the asteroid worm in episode
Exactly.
5. It's like
and the
this
thing
is
she
the
was
thing.
in was drool. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
Do you need to walk out?
Do you need to leave the room for a minute?
I'm good. I have a specific thought. Okay.
Oh. Alright, so this is going to foreshadow towards the end of the episode, but I'm just going to go ahead and say Baby Yoda did try to do good and did try to eat something else.
Yeah, Baby Yoda.
But after trying to do that, Baby Yoda is just like, you know what? I'm going to get in trouble, but those ain't going to try to eat me. And, yeah.
Put it up on the screen, editing it. That's three snorts.
Snort counter, go!
I'm like legitimately crying.
So in case you couldn't guess by everything, they're spider eggs. And all of them start hatching.
Yeah, so
around
Baby Yoda
him.
eats. He opens it and eats one, and he's like, yum, yum, yummy,
And
yummy, yummy.
The open is the exact same open from the freaking face huggers.
For Alien, it looks so much like
Hugger.
Alien.
Literally, the second it opened up, I was just like, oh no, I know what that is. No.
I was real scared. It was going to try to eat Baby Yoda from the inside out.
He was.
Oh god.
Oh god, it doesn't. It's dead. The others start hatching, and then bigger ones start coming out, and then bigger ones start coming out, and then Big Daddy comes out,
And then they all just decided to stand there and enjoy the view for a moment.
giving Nate all kind of
Frog
anxiety.
Lady takes the time to get dressed.
She was naked. She's modest.
She's also cold-blooded, of course.
To be fair,
Do you
let's
want to
put it
get
this way.
dressed or do you want to die?
Yeah, no,
Like,
let's
I don't-
put it
I want to
this
die
way.
clothed, not die naked.
There was one scene. Okay, she was in the hot spring. Mandalorian was standing right there. They both were sitting there looking. She turned, tongue out, grabbed her clothes, came back. Pan went back to the spiders. By the time they came back, she was already dressed and ready to go.
She got dressed
Adam,
really
can
quick.
You get dressed that quick when you were completely butt naked?
Maybe.
You know
Depends
it.
on how many layers there are.
Okay, let's just put it this way.
Depends on how many spiders there are.
And then also, going back to the modest comment, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if there is a single spider in my floor, and I just get out of the shower, Adam's going to see a side of me he don't want to see, because I'm going to be butt-ass naked. I'm going to be taking down 4 doors coming out. My bathroom, my fake wall, both outside doors, and then probably my car door, and I'm probably going to be setting a flamethrower off in the meantime while I'm going outside.
I'll just be in my room playing video games, what's the smell?
Because I have a very, very,
Really?
very
Is
simplistic.
Nate grilling?
I have a simplistic, just reaction to seeing a spider in my house. Burn it.
But they start running away from the spiders that are all chasing them. And this is what I wanted
Sorry,
to
I
talk
dropped
about.
my phone.
This is what I wanted to talk about a lot, because this gives me so much anxiety. First of all, I don't like
It
spiders.
comes close to like horror genre
It's-
episode. Like,
It
holy
is
fuck.
all of my fears of zombies. Their numbers just starting to overtake me. I can't do anything because they start.
It's
kinda getting away,
terrifying.
And you start to shoot them one at a time. It's like,
It's like, okay,
No,
we're gaining
this
ground.
isn't
Oh god,
working.
no.
you can't do anything. There's so many of them.
And then flamethrower. Always flamethrower with spiders.
Flamethrower works.
Especially on an ice planet.
Exactly. And then
Also, the whole okay, can we talk about the anatomy of these spiders real quick?
so those suckerfish flying things from episode 5.
Oh, fucking, I know what you're talking
the
about. And I cannot.
Milox.
Mylocks.
Okay, so just
Yes.
for anybody that's not a massive Star Wars fan,
Or
these
as
are
somebody put it
normal-
recently, a
these are
Star
normal
Wars slut.
spiders, right,
Reference.
that have mouths very similar to octopus or / kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes!
Pirates of the Caribbean is
I like
exactly
that
it.
reference.
But here's the problem. They dangle them from the bottom of the spider. Pardon the analogy, but much
God.
like balls.
You're not wrong.
But it's it's balls with teeth. And those teeth have more teeth on the inside.
You made me
And their
laugh so hard, I
eyes
farted.
are at the top part of the sack.
Stop making me snort!
And I'm not okay.
The anatomy is terrible. It's horrible. It's
Whoever came up with that design needs to be like trapped in a room.
They
full
need
of these
therapy.
things.
They need to work on more horror movies. Jesus.
No!
But then it's
No!
It is.
But then they end up getting away and getting back to the ship,
I
and
can breathe.
that is also my fear: is being in a. I'm claustrophobic. I don't like tight spaces, especially if there are a lot of people around me, or I don't know, things that want to fucking eat me.
Because I'm like, okay, he's getting back to the ship. He's going to be able to put something in the way. They're not going to get in. And then they just swarm in through the hole in the hull because he hadn't been able to repair it. And I'm like, oh, that's when I was like, oh no. Because I'm like, I'm not too claustrophobic, but when stuff is swarming around me in a small space, I can't do it.
Again, my
Like-
zombie fears.
Like ants. If I step in an ant bed and ants immediately are just swarming all over my foot, I freak out. And just having that many of anything all over me, I can't do.
It's pure number
It's
terror.
it's just number terror, but I cannot do it.
They-
So that got me. That's when I started going, ah!
ends up sealing himself in the cockpit and like, all right, cool. Oh yeah, he'd also said some explosive. Hold on. He'd also, before, while chasing, had set some explosives and killed the Big Daddy Spider. Except he didn't.
I was about to say, so it seems.
Okay, so he didn't just so simply seal himself in the cockpit.
No, he was trying to close it, and they were coming in, and he's trying to sit there, shoot them as they're coming in.
In there, they're still coming through the door.
True.
He's sitting there
still
trying to
blasting
shoot
them.
them the whole time. He can't get it to go. It cuts to a little scene of Baby Yoda's got one tapping all over his forehead. The mama
Frog lady.
like pulls out a freaking little mini blaster.
She
looks
packing heat.
like a little pea shooter. Literally shoots the thing like an apple off of somebody's head, off of Baby Yoda's
Like
head.
William Tell.
Baby Yoda looks at her and was just like, you know what? You right. Cut back to Mando.
Your
He
eggs
finally-
may be delicious, but you're okay.
He finally wises up and is just like, you know what? Screw this.
And finally, flamethrowers through
I'm
the
just gonna go
door.
ahead and tell y'all. Y'all have made a comment he might not want to mess up the whole of his ship. Because I freaked out whenever he finally did it. Cut back to my little exit strategy if I ever see a spider in this house. He already can't do anything about the whole of the ship.
I mean, yeah.
He can't do anything about any of the damages but the cockpit.
I mean, well, his plan was actually take off. Because once they're in space,
But here's the thing. He can take off even if he torches his ship.
not as well if it gets to the engines.
The engines are... Okay. Right. Do you know how they set up the engines in the Star Wars?
Fire spread.
But the engines are right below the cockpit, so that way they can repair them from the inside of the cockpit whenever
I
they're
love
in space.
this.
I don't think they are on his. I think his are a little further back. Anyways,
But either way, that was actually in a little breakdown of how they designed their ships. Okay. From years ago. But, okay, so whenever he does that, and he seals up the door, and then he tries to go, the single most terrifying thing that happened in the entire freaking episode decides to
he
happen.
starts taking off,
And Big
boom!
Daddy comes back right on top.
drops on the ship, grounding it. Crashes through.
That one actually scared me too, because I was like, okay, you got a sense of relief. Because, okay, he's taking off. This is going to be okay. Bang, Jesus!
And, bust through the glass. Because that was one of my big things is whenever they finally sealed themselves in there, I was just like, you have glass windows. Yeah, they might be strong enough to withstand shit out in space. That's glass windows with spiders that have teeth.
At that point,
And-
none of them I think were big enough to pierce it.
He's
I'm
still
trying-
freaking out
I'm
from the
trying-
spiders.
I'm trying so hard to actually get my thoughts across.
You're
Okay.
okay, man.
The juveniles.
Yeah.
I feel like we're big enough to bust into the ship. I don't think that any of them got to it. Because it showed them all crawling up the ship, and he was just like, okay, no. And then he went to take off.
Because I feel like if they're strong enough to destroy the glass, they'd be strong enough to pry open the door. Especially if it's glass meant to withstand
if it was
space
a-
travel.
I'm not going to.
I have to agree with
but
that.
also, there wasn't a whole lot of time there, so if they actually could have, they probably would have. Because they were actually stopping the door.
True.
Like, the whole time he was trying to close it, they were stopping it. So I don't know if that was just a sheer number of them, like, crammed in the doorway, or if it was the juveniles just on the inside, just...
You know what's funny? Nate's the one that doesn't want to talk about this, and he's the one that's not willing to leave.
Because I need to get my freak out. Okay? I don't need to internalize this.
I have to finish freaking out so I can calm down.
Okay.
Let it
But
all
anyway,
out, Nate.
the part of the scene was not the Big Daddy jumping on the ship. I was just like, oh yeah, you're screwed. Okay, that's fine.
It's the
It was
mouth
whatever
on the cockpit window.
It was the whole lead up because the Big Daddy is on top of the ship and the head is just kind of dangling like a ball sack, like I said it before, around the glass windows of the ship. And then you just see that big ass eye just look at Mando and rears back, sucker fish to the side of the ship.
And just like smears it across the windshield.
But it's that scene of like, I think it was Stitch, who just likes the side of a window or something.
He's making it sound cutesy because that actually calmed me down a little bit. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he does that. I think it's whatever.
It reminded me a little bit of Into the Spider-Verse when they're on the train and it's like, boom.
Exactly, it's that.
Or the bus or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
the train.
Yeah.
It was whenever he had Peter
Yeah.
dangling below him.
Well, I think they were attached to the train and it went
he was-
against
he
the
was-
bus.
He was hanging on to Peter.
But it reminded me of that. It was funny. Oh, God.
And then blaster bolts start firing.
Oh, God.
That was the biggest relief.
I know.
Even it was revealed that, hey, the X-Wing guys that were going to arrest you, they're here to save you. I'm like, you know what? They're probably arresting him, but who fucking cares at this point? Put me in cuffs. I
Take
want out.
away the spiders, please. I will go wherever
They
you
come to an
want me to
understanding because
go.
they're like, yeah, you have an arrest warrant for this, but also you've got like 3 fugitives in carbonite on your ship.
No, I think it was the 3 people that were with him whenever he tried to bust that one guy out of the prison ship, and he ended up knocking all the rest of them out and throwing them
The
in the
heist.
ship.
The heist, the breakout
Right,
episode that
That's
he
what-
captured
that's what
all
they
of
were
them.
talking about.
So they're like, well, that was pretty good. So
Yeah, and so it's kind of like a, hey, he goes, how about I trade you the bounties on my ship for the for help? How about we ignore you and let you go?
How about you get that whatever it was,
That's right, that ping.
the whatever thing, a
That-
transmitter.
yeah, the
How about you get that
transmitter
transmitter fixed and we don't blow your ship out of orbit next time we see you?
And they just turn around, and take off.
Oh
The
God!
most relieving 2 minutes left. He ends up. They seal off at least the cabin. He's like, "We're gonna try to limp to the planet." They take off.
And are in space, and the episode ends with Baby Yoda eating one last fucking egg.
He looks. It's hilarious. Just that look is like, yes, I've learned my lesson. He says, looking at the
The frog
tank.
lady, and she
And
like
it's like,
covers
this is
it.
great.
She looked at him and was just like, no.
She like
And
covered it
literally
more.
cuddles the freaking tank.
And he
And
turns
Baby
back
Yoda's
to the
like,
He
front
looks
and
okay
just
with it. Looks forward.
Meow.
And just slides one up to his mouth and just.
Okay, we do gotta give Baby Yoda some credit though. Those eggs are there and they're gone.
There, he is just like unhinging his jaw and just suctioning them.
I don't think he's unhinging. I think he just like
Yeah.
just like suctions them in.
It's still a really trippy thing, 'cause especially with the frogs. They like okay. So Angela has Baby Yoda here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we
Yes,
gotta just point something out. Ooh, that was actually not what I expected to do. Look how big his mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
It's not.
Frog.
Podcast
It makes
is
you
a
look-
very
The
visual
frogs that he literally just ate in one bite were as big as his head, and he was able to just suck them up.
Well, first of all, for the eggs, I don't think they were solid. I think they
No,
were more like jelly.
it was almost like gel capsule type things. They were
Yeah.
just squishy or whatever.
thing. Yeah, I pictured like a vitamin gel pill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, score the episode.
I'm not sure.
Angela, would you like to score it first?
Sure, I give it a 7. It's better than the last one for me.
Okay. Come more constant action, something more constantly going
It's
on.
more consistent.
Okay.
More consistently entertaining for me. Got the adrenaline pumping.
Because I think I think the first episode had higher highs, but it was just there was a lot of build up to that.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, it was at least something was constantly going on. Something at least that I was interested in wondering what happened next.
I think I may still give this one a 7. Like the last one, I liked it a little bit less, but it was still really good. Still a really good episode. There was more like it felt like more content to it, even though there was less story happening in this one.
Mm-hmm.
There was still more. There was more action, more stuff happening. So it wasn't like I was just like, all right, okay, yeah, I get it. Oh no, can we not? I don't know if we'll be able to work with the Tuskens. Are we gonna? Okay, we're finally fighting the Crate Dragon. No, this one was like, oh fuck, what next? Oh fuck, what next? Oh fuck, what? Oh no, not the spiders. So
I was planning on giving this.
God, people's ears are gonna be bleeding at the end of this.
I was planning the entire time to give this one a 6. It was mainly because it was very. It was good, and I liked it less, but because it had such a almost a horror vibe, I really dug that. And it's at least, at the very least, I'm not forgetting this for a while.
Yeah.
It stood out, but because of the ending, I'm giving it a 7. Because simply,
Just the way it ended, I was like, ugh.
it's very, we'll see if we can get to this place. Not, all right, plots solved. Next, we'll see you next week, kids.
Same bat time, same bat
Which
channel.
is what a lot of the first episode felt like, except with the Boba Fett stinger, but that didn't really help me with anything. This one, it's like, all right, how are we going to make it to the next planet? Something else going to mess us up?
Because the ship is limping along. It's
limping
barely
is generous.
barely together.
And I am very curious about what's going to happen next. And so it's like, I think it did a better job leading into the next story. So I'm actually really excited. I think I didn't like this episode as much, but I think I'm giving it a higher score of a 7.
That's fair.
Now, just because we kind of skated past it, I will actually bring up like the most satisfying part of this entire episode to me was followed directly behind one of the scariest things, because I just saw everything going wrong, was whenever he got webbed to the side of his ship. Whenever he
Oh my god,
yes.
yeah.
And like literally the only thing that I could see happening was all of them crawling up him. If one of them had started to crawl up Mando, I'd have dove in the hallway. I'd have lost it. But it got followed by one of the main reasons why I like this dude so much, because
One lunges at him.
he does not lose his cool under any circumstances. This is a prime example of why I could not be a Mandalorian. I'd have stripped, butt-ass naked, just out of, I don't know what to do, but run and just lose everything.
The moment Nate would lose being a Mandalorian because he would just throw his helmet off.
Fuck this!
Yeah, no, I would literally be a Mandalorian for 2 minutes and it'd be like, all right, what would you do in front of this thing?
Nope!
Run.
And it
Run.
would literally, I wouldn't even touch it. It would just shoot off of my head. But in that situation,
He would have a button programmed to just launch the helmet off of him in case of spiders.
the button's in my head. The button's in my head. No, whenever my anxiety gets peaked, it just goes.
He's the French Mandalorian, and that's his white flag.
Okay, you're not wrong.
Fine! I knew it! I was waiting for it!
Damn it!
Six!
Okay. All right. So we need to just Okay, so instead of having him, how many snorts does he have? We need to have a competition of who can make him snort the most.
Wait a minute, I think we should have snort.
It was an hour snort.
It's hereditary. We can't help it.
I can't breathe!
Willie, it's it.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening.
What about what we think to happen next?
Can you?
I'll get there. I also had one more thing I wanted to talk about that I forgot.
Oh, we didn't even finish that point. Because one spider lunges at him, he just literally grabs it with one hand.
It just crushes it. It is so
That
cool.
was literally the
I might have had a
only
slight boner for him at that moment. Oh, thank
At
you.
that
Yes.
moment, I'm not gonna lie. I would have
Oh my
literally
God.
kissed him in that situation. But
I'm
listen,
actually crying from laughing so hard.
Okay, I want to apologize because I probably destroyed everyone's ears and he's so unintelligible. So just in case it wasn't clear, I got a hat trick of making Andrew snort.
and he also broke the high score.
I broke the high score.
Stop making me laugh.
No, it's
See, this
fun.
is what happens when you invite me and him start getting on a roll. Is it just
I want a biscuit.
What?
Oh.
Oh.
Would Brett think of better?
It took him an honest like 20 seconds to.
No.
Don't laugh at that.
No, I didn't hear. I heard, I want a biscuit. And I was like, that's the most random fucking thing. Was that supposed to be, haha, so random, make you laugh? I was like, what? And then you're like, no, because like, on a roll, I'm on a biscuit. I'm like, oh my God. So when I finally got it, I hate you.
Best dad joke I've heard.
Oh my God. Andrew, what were you going to say? Okay.
I hope you're enjoying just hearing me breathe heavily for a second. Jesus. Can we talk about... Fuck off.
On the outside.
Yes! I was thinking about that earlier. Oh my God. I'll tell you about that later.
Oh my God.
Oh, fuck me, man. Okay, so I want to talk for a second about once the X-Wing fighters get there and start shooting all the spiders, and he comes out of the cockpit, and it's all webs in the rest of his ship. It's all web. That was so cool and terrifying looking. It was, ugh.
Keep in mind, they were only in that ship for maybe 10 minutes. Like,
If
It was like 2.
2 or 3,
No,
they were not in there for long.
like for the situation, of everything that was going on, 2 minutes maybe. But in reality of that situation, they would have had not even 10 minutes. And
They may have
that
had a
was-
little bit longer than what it was shown
Yeah.
in reality.
So, 'cause
but it was
like,
still not
them
long.
Getting into the ship, him trying to do everything, them trying to take off, then Big Daddy comes down. Ugh. But that
They spun those
literally
webs
looked
so
like
fast.
Shelob's cave.
It looked like somebody had went all out decorating for Halloween.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm still trying to catch my breath,
Okay,
guys.
so my rating for this episode is a no. If that wasn't clear.
Nate's rating for this is a burning house out of 10.
Whatever you're about to ask me, ask somebody else first. I'm still breathing.
What do you think? what are you expecting / hoping for in the next episode?
Like, part of me assumes they're gonna be struggling to get to the next planet, but part of me
Sorry. Go ahead.
so rude.
Continue.
Part of me wonders if they're already gonna like be landed somewhere if they didn't make it.
Because they didn't make it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm also wondering if they're going to if that's the first 10 minutes is them landing on the planet. Because it's like, as much as it's like we're struggling to get there, I don't know how much that's going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since this entire episode has been them struggling.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
it'd be better if
And it just started.
Yeah.
I feel like this is probably going to be a 3 or 4 episode thing of him, because since he can't go in sublight or he has to go sublight, I think that this is literally going to be one issue after another until he gets there, and then whenever he finally gets there, I'm just waiting for them to just be like, "Oh, you thought there were Mandalorians here?"
I am wondering if that's the truth. Because she says her husband can confirm that there are Mandalorians there. And I'm wondering if she's saying that just because she needs help, or if he was lying, or if it was something else.
If the female Doc Brown was lying, like trying to just get her help
Yeah.
and trying to
Mhm.
play on that.
I don't know if the female Doc Brown would lie about
Same.
that, though.
But
she
here's-
did say she paraphrased.
True. But I think the joke there was that
Because
it was a short conversation.
And she gave a pretty long, I think.
What I think is going to happen is it is going to be either it is going to basically be a bottle episode where it's they're like stuck inside that cockpit and everything's going wrong. They're doing everything they can just to try to get there. Whether it's like plug that up, we got to do this out. the engines are just shut off. I have to go spacewalk to get it working. They're going to land there at the end of the episode, get to her husband, which will then be another problem. Whether it's he's gone, somebody's holding him at gunpoint.
He's dead.
He's dead. Mandalorians are holding him at gunpoint. Just, I think it'll be another problem. That'll be a cliffhanger there. That's what I'm hoping for, anyways. Because it'll be really good.
I'm thinking it might start out while they're limping to the planet in space. Like you do.
Right.
I'm thinking they may have to deal with another bounty hunter coming after him for Baby Yoda while the ship is in such bad repair. I'm thinking they may have to do that and try to deal with getting away from him with barely any maneuverability or anything with the ship.
Because that is one of the biggest reasons he was very cautious about, I can't do this
Sublight,
job.
yeah.
I can't do
Speed
this.
is the only thing keeping me alive right now.
And while that was addressed in the X-Wings, because he had to deal with it, that's still hey, we haven't, it would be a weird thing to set up and not pay off.
Did he cut his tracker thing off? Did it show that?
What tracker thing?
The thing that
The transmitter he turned on for the X-Wings?
I don't know, but after that damage, it's probably not transmitting.
I highly doubt it.
Well, the big thing is if he didn't cut that off, there's a good chance that if there are bounty hunters, they could probably be using that to track it.
True.
Yeah, he definitely had other things on his mind, so if it's still working, he did not turn it off.
Yeah.
Like that.
But yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm really excited. I know of a few people that are going to cameo in the season. I'm not going to say them.
I am so excited for one of them.
Yeah, just in case people haven't seen them.
I don't know.
That's fine. Well, I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
Off mic.
Shut up. But yeah, that went way longer than it was supposed to because it was 2 episodes and spiders and snorting.
And snorting spiders.
Anyways, hopefully we'll have
No. God, no.
I just realized I'm back at my safe space.
Safe space back behind the door again.
Anyways, we're gonna try to do this every week. If we don't, we're
We're
gonna
gonna.
Should we let them do the outro?
Yeah, you guys.
Nate, Angela, y'all do the outro. I know you know it, at least.
Putting me on the spot. I listen to your podcast.
Thank you guys, everybody.
No.
I was just gonna do that lead into the main outro. But go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead then.
Thank you, everybody, so much for watching, listening. We're gonna try to have this up every week. Until then, nope. We.
Oh, yeah, because you're nice. We love you. Stay.
And remember, no to freaking spiders.
Oh, yeah, and then stay weird.
Mm-hmm. And
we'll see you next time.
We'll get this eventually.